What's up? How does it hang? Welcome back to the wormy worm. Gorgeous freaking day. It's going to be a nice few days actually. I think the whole week is like low to mid 70s and sunny. It's great. Great for charging batteries off the solar panels, great for working. It's great for everything. I think in the last video we got the inside of the cabin basically done. We did milled up all the cedar logs, put the ceiling in, did all the trim up there and everything. So the only thing left to do is to pull all of that back out, run it through the planer, varnish it, and put it back in, which I'm actually looking forward to. I think it's fun to take that stuff down, and then when you put it back in, you know, it's screws, so you just match up the screw holes, it goes back together perfectly. It's going to be great. Tito's over sharpening and milling chains, and I think he's going to be ripping up. Actually, let's go take a look what he's got done over here. Oh yeah, he's got a nice stack of floorboards. Look at that. All 1-inch aspen boards. I think that's one log right there. That's probably enough to do the entire floor in his cabin. And then that's all the pine we milled up. Various sizes when I was trying to get the big board for my hanging coffee table that I haven't built yet. But as soon as I have all this varnishing done and the trim put back in the cabin, it's hanging coffee table time. I can't wait to build that. And then once that's in, then it's, I know, for a guy that doesn't have power, it's pretty weird to put in a projector and do movies inside the cabin, but I'm gonna do it. And he's got a lot of lumber in these 4 more logs here. Isn't that ceiling gorgeous? And all the trim. Man, the echo is just crazy in here now though. So let's see, I want to put wider window sills on here because those are nice shelves. So we're going to make 3 of those, and I think that's it. Then we're going to take the window frames and trim down. We're going to take the heater microwave down, that table, all the trim off here, all the trim off there. I do want to varnish these shelves. I think I'm going to do them in place though, because they're not very easy to take down or get back up. So maybe we'll tape that off. Gonna plane and varnish the lid, varnish that, window frame, sill. Already did the coat racks. Yeah, it's actually not as much as I was thinking it would be. I mean, it's probably gonna be at least 100 pieces to take down and out of here and keep straight. I don't know how. Well, I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of high-tech marking system to remember where these all go. Oh, and then I've got my 2 drying racks outside. Those are pine. So is my microwave shelf. I think I'm just going to varnish them anyway. So yeah, let's make some quick window sills. We'll just extend them out a couple inches. We milled all that lumber. It was just out of these tiny kind of throwaway cedar trees, the real small ones. If you guys remember in the last video, I ran a little bit short of trim in here. So I found those out in the woods, dragged the logs up here, milled them up, got some. I think the biggest board is maybe 6 inches, but those are plenty big for these window sills. So let's knock those out real quick, fit them. As long as they fit, then we'll just start ripping stuff apart. Oh, it must have been a real craftsman that made this. Tight fit. That was probably an accident. What is that? Oh, fortune cookie. There's something not right about you. There must be a good reason I kept that. These will make some good window sills. It's got quite a bit of undercut on it here, so I'm going to trim it flat and maybe just leave a little bit. Can't really see it on the bottom of the windowsill, but I like it. Didn't extend this one too much because I got to be able to get in the box there. But that's that little uncut edge I kind of like on it. Did we cut it right? Nice. I mean, when I plane this down, there is going to be a bigger crack here, but that's okay. We'll caulk that at some point. That's nice. So let's mark that front sill. Alright, so we don't need to plane every side of these, and we don't need to varnish every side. So what if we just put an X on every piece that needs to be planed and varnished? We'll plane those X's off. Big window, right side. Big window. Okay, we're gonna take down the trim I just put up. Maybe we call it A, B, C, and D. Maybe if I say it on film, then I'll remember in a couple of days when I have to put it back together. So that's A, board 1, 2, B, board 1, 2. Got that? You better not forget. So let's see, we're gonna do this side, this side, this side, this side, this side, this side. This is crazy. Wow, imagine if I did actually take all of this down. The ceiling boards, the wall boards, everything. I would just have to do one at a time, I think, or 3 at a time and then put them back up. Yeah, this is much more complicated than I thought. So this piece, for example, goes in the upper corner there. This side and this side need to get planed and varnished. So I was putting an X on them. Those are the ones you need to do. Of course, once you plane it off, then you can't tell what needs to be varnished. So my new technique is putting a marker dot denoting the sides that need varnish after they're planed. This is insane. I just want to make sure you know how I'm doing it, so when you do this to your cabin, it'll be super easy. I was just noticing it's only 69 degrees in here. Feels humid. I looked at the humidistat there. It's 70% humidity inside, and it's been around 35 for the last couple months. I think that's just from putting up the ceiling boards, but you know, in the summer, you can leave the windows open. This stuff dries out pretty fast, especially since it's really light wood and it's only 3/4 inches. I am realizing that I'm varnishing 1-day-old wood, so very wet wood. That'd be just the trim I put up. Everything around the trim around the windows, window frames, window sills, everything that's plenty dry. And even the trim around the door is old, but everything's getting varnished on 1 or 2 sides, so there'll still be, you know, a way for the moisture to get out of it. I'm not too worried about it. Besides, there's cracks everywhere, so, you know, a piece of trim, you're varnishing on these 2 sides, these 2 are open. Yeah, I think with summer coming, it's not going to be an issue with moisture. I don't know how well the varnish will stick to the new trim, but we're going to find out. I've just taken the box lid off here. Remember, this was starting to bow as it dried out, so I pushed it in really hard, screwed it down. Interestingly, when I'm taking it off, all the screws and the hinges are fine. This hinge, all 3 of the screws were broken, and I think that's just from the pressure of the wood drying and it pulling out. It snapped them all sideways. Isn't that wild? You know, I just had a thought. Any of these pieces of wood that are as thin as this cutting blade here or thinner, I think I'm just going to plane with this because, you know, being all chainsaw milled, these aren't exactly the same thickness like the trim boards. If I put them through here, the big one, then I have to bring them all down to the same thickness, and that just doesn't seem worth it. So I think I'm going to do the trim with this and the bigger boards with this. And again, hopefully we can get the generator to run long enough to do this. But stuff like this is the windowsill. I don't really want to do with this because you do a couple passes and you can see the line down the middle. where the passes don't quite meet up. So we'll do that through the big one. But stuff like this, that's going to do as good a job as the big one. Perfect. Oh yeah, plus I got to do some of these edges, so that'll be easy with this too. Gorgeous. Yeah, it'll be a lot quicker. Look for the X, look for, oh, there's the X. Don't know if you'll be able to see the difference. These are planed, these are unplaned. So that's what everything inside the cabin's gonna look like except the varnish trim. Got so close. Almost had this guy planed down. I guess everything else is already planed. That went really fast, especially using the hand planer. But my generator conked out. I feel like it must be overheating or something because it actually ran all right for what, 20 minutes or something. I'm gonna let it cool down. I guess we'll go varnish some stuff inside. It's kind of hard to cut in rough wood, thick varnish with a crappy brush. Probably should have taped this. Excuse me. I guess it looks a little better than that. Yeah, that looks cool. Can you tell any difference at all? Probably not. I guess it brought out some of the knots and stuff a little more. Oh, lovely. This stuff is not as bad as the varnish that I used on that countertop. Holy cow, that stuff was gnarly. I'm just finishing up. I forgot I never finished Doc Holliday, the book. It's like 19 hours long or something. I have like 5 hours left. It's great. It's surprising how much in the movies is actually pretty close to real life, or best they can guess. Alright, let's give this one more try. This thing actually looks pretty nice with the little varnish on it and the little planing. This is the thing I put together just with scrap wood that was inside my old orange tent. Now it looks like fine furniture. Tito just mentioned that it's already 6 o'clock, and now I smell a campfire, and there's pork tenderloin to be grilled. So I'm not going to finish all this today, but all I have left is just the trim. Everything else got a coat on it, so we ought to be able to get a coat on that in the morning, second coat in the evening, or probably afternoon, and put it all together. That'd be rad if I could get it all finished and back together tomorrow. Oh man, Tito and I looked at the stuff that I varnished this morning and decided that this semi-gloss stuff, which is all I could get locally, I couldn't find any gloss, or the Varathane that I was using for other stuff around here that I really liked, we just decided this isn't gonna do it. So we made the drive, had to go quite a ways to find the gloss version, and because we were out, we had to stop and eat breakfast, and I should have just eaten a semi-tire. Just a giant rubber tire, I would feel better. Country fried steak with a pile of gravy, hash browns, pancakes, eggs, 6 pots of coffee. Oh, but I think I'm gonna finish this first coat with the semi-gloss just to use it up. Man, these biting flies. Sorry, I've hit you before. I'm gonna have to hit you again. Missed him. Yeah, just to use it up, we'll do the first coat with the semi-gloss, let it dry, sand the stuff I've already done, and then we'll switch to gloss for the last coat. Then we'll put it up, but I am getting all this done today, even though this stuff doesn't dry very fast. And I'm gonna roll it and then tip it. Man, I don't have any clean liners, but this stuff is pretty welded onto here. Hopefully it doesn't dissolve with the oil base. So much faster. Holy cow. Man, I just love varnishing, and I like doing it with the brush. Never think to use a roller, but geez, oh Pete's, this is like 5 times as fast. Roll it and tip it. How cool is that? Generally, when you're varnishing, you want to get half of your stuff wet with varnish and then sand the other stuff right next to it so you get a bunch of dust blowing onto the fresh wet stuff. It's how the pros do it. I'm not sure why I varnished this thing. It was just sitting there, so I felt like I had to make it match. It's another little garbage thing. See, it's just the throwaway from a pine round. A couple junk boards. It's kind of a nice footstool, I guess. Yeah, this gloss is so much nicer. Really pops it. So fun to put on. Look at that. Gorgamus. Love it. Love it. Yeah, look how pretty that is. Nice shine to it. You compare that with the trim here. Of course, that's semi-gloss, but it's also the first coat, so everything just sank in. If I can get through this whole project without spilling this pan, I will be very happy. Not much you can see, right? Like it looks a little more varnishier than it did before. I'll show you later. You can't tell any difference on the camera, can you? Maybe you can. Tito's got his floor all chopped up. Just drove by with the four-wheeler taking boards down there. He's gonna have an actual cabin floor pretty quickly. I was just going over some of these boards, sanding a couple of them for the next coat, and check this out. Yeah, there's two, looks like nails, maybe 2 or 3 of them all together right there in that bad spot. That's got to be from a long time ago. That's grown 30 years into the tree maybe. I don't see any streaks in the rest of the board, so it must not have messed up the cutters in the planer. You should just never read books. Never read books, never listen to books, because it really messes up your movie experience. Remember in the movie Tombstone, near the end, when Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo have the little gunfight? Turns out they weren't even in the same state when that happened. People just found Johnny Ringo's body way later with a gunshot to the head, but apparently it was suicide, and they knew where Doc Holliday wasn't in the state. Yeah, don't read books. Have you tap danced it yet?
Not yet.
It's a shame because they're so nice and bright, and then you start walking on them one time and they get all scuffed up. If you could just let them dry out like that, sand them and varnish them, it'd be great.
God, these are monsters.
I would love to help, but I'm holding the camera.
All right.
Done. Unfortunately, it's 5:30 and there's no way this is all going to dry tonight. I was going to get the second coat on and get it all put up today. Oh look, it's one of the biting flies trapped in my varnish. I feel so bad for you. You are a horrible little creature. I put them in my bug jar. I don't know if I've caught one of those before. I'm so curious to see how they can draw so much blood so quickly. I think they have, like, I don't know if they call them mandibles, like a couple of slicers that go this way. And they like cut you and drink all the blood, and then they leave a welt for about a week. This stuff should, in theory, probably have one more coat, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. That's just like a storage shelf. The rest of it, it's not like with trim you can tell the difference between 2 and 3 coats, especially when it's most of it's up on the ceiling. But it does look a lot nicer and richer with the gloss on there. That's a lot of trim when you see it all laid out like that. It doesn't seem like it when you're making it, because you're like, you mill a log, cut up a couple pieces, put it up, mill another log, and you just keep going forever. I mean, I guess you think about how much wood is just in one cabin. So this is less than 200 square feet. Imagine how many materials go into your house or your apartment or whatever. Even just wood, there's way more wood in your house than there is in this entire thing, because you think of all the framing. If you got a second story, then the floor of the second story or the ceiling of the first story is really thick, a lot of big beams. We humans use a lot of materials. We should all just have tents. Yeah, they've been drying for almost a half an hour now, so I think yeah, they're a little bit sticky. What can you do? Carry them by the screws and put them right back up. Got almost everything up except for the windows, and everyone was perfectly marked. I knew exactly where it went. Imagine what a disaster it would be to just take it all down and then try to fit it together later. I usually quit working by, hold on, I gotta think. Front window, left side. So that goes to inside. That goes, wait a minute. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I usually knock off working by between 5 and 6. I try to stop myself by 5, and I usually just can't do it. It's 7:30 right now, but I'm making such great progress, and it's still, gosh, it's so nice out right now. It's 70 degrees, super quiet, no wind. The bugs are kind of out, but man, a night like this, it's just, you just can't stop yourself. Plus, this is actually finishing stuff, like really finishing it, which is crazy exciting. Front window bottom, left window bottom, number 5. Big window left, number, ooh, I got a 5 and a 5. All right. I just promised myself that if I put all these together, I would wait till tomorrow to install them. But I can't do it. Gotta do it now, gotta. Ooh, nice new windowsill. That is sweet. That's gonna hold a lot of Ryobi batteries. I don't know why I insist in keeping them in the window, but it's just a good place to get them out of the way. Oh, so fun to put back together. Sweet. We did it! Oh, So cool. All right, take a nap. We'll clean this garbage up tomorrow. Yeah, it's time for a shower. Okay, you ready? That, folks, right there is a finished cabin. How cool does that look? I mean, you can't exactly tell the difference between varnished, unvarnished, varnished. Well, I guess maybe you can. Varnished, unvarnished. But to the naked eye, you can see it. I especially like the trim above the top of the front and back walls, and then the strips down the ceiling. That looks sweet. Don't you think? I mean, that's the same wood as that. And that's the same wood as that. But I think it does kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say sets it off because I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I think it came out great. And the new bigger window sills look pretty rad. And varnished planed frames. I actually kind of like the slanted part of the ceiling here where we did that at an angle coming down together, meeting up. And we've got plenty of space for batteries on this windowsill now. You got to keep them warm, you know, you need a little sun on them or they won't grow. Feels kind of weird. Really kind of weird. I mean, the cabin is totally finished, totally livable, and clearly it's been livable for quite a while. At some point, I'll do something with the floors probably. Who knows what or when, but the next step has to be the coffee table, lowerable, and the movie screen. Those are going to be really fun projects, especially because they don't take a whole bunch of calories to do and a whole bunch of sweating. It's just going to be fun messing with it. And I'm actually kind of surprised at how nice this thing is for a tent table. I think I made that just so my shoes didn't get rained on, because I kept them underneath the vestibule, and when it rains it would splash underneath and soak all my shoes. So that was just to hold shoes up. Now it just gets used to put my coffee cup on in the morning and set computer and cords and stuff. Probably make a new really nice table right there. Maybe I'll make it with the last slab of this really pretty cedar. So yeah, that's that. It you know, that was that was easy. It must have taken, I think I started at the end of last year. So about a year and a half. Pretty much solid a year and a half. It was a lot of tree cutting and a lot of milling and a lot of piecing stuff together, but you know, doing it in sections. Just mill the trees for the floor frame, put it together, mill the trees for the floorboards, put it together. You know, it's probably, what, 10 different steps of cutting and milling. Now looking back at it, it doesn't seem like it was that hard. So, I appreciate you guys watching, especially those of you that saw, I don't know how many videos this was, maybe like 30 videos or so to build the cabin. Any of you that stuck with it and watched every minute of all those videos, you deserve some kind of prize. I mean, I'm not going to give it to you, but ask around, somebody owes you. You know, the one thing I just thought about that is definitely going to be a problem, and it'll be kind of fun to figure out how to deal with the problem. If you have a suspended coffee table that can move around, that's fine. I don't mind if it wobbles a little bit. But I was thinking about putting the projector, like bolting it to the table, maybe on like a little tripod ball or something where you could face the projector up there. If the table's moving the littlest bit, that means the screen, the projection is going to be moving all over the place. Doesn't matter, I'm still gonna do it, but maybe we'll make put some eyelets in the floor that like pop up, some rings, and you could like strap the table down to the down to the floor so it doesn't move. Like anything to not put legs on it. But you know, in this small space, you just can't have a normal giant coffee table in here. So we'll figure it out anyway. See you next week.